Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, and I'm here today to bring the review for My Hero Academia, episode 54. The first exam of the sports festival is on the way, in pursuit. I'm not, I was gonna say en route, but we're not going to it. We're in the middle of it. But regardless of all that, so far so good, so far so exciting. At least for me personally, I don't know how you feel, but I don't see why you wouldn't see this as exciting so far. So we basically start the episode off where we've left off last episode. The Class A are all together, minus Shoto, minus Bakugo. Obviously, they went off for their own reasons. I think for Shoto, it's more to just test himself on a higher level because he probably realized if he stayed with his class, he'll be able to do it. So he wants to see if he can do it by himself. And Bakugo is just the whole Bakugo situation. He's Mr. Independent, so that's why he probably went off by himself. But yes, as I said, we start the episode off with Class A together, and as the episode goes on, they get separated. Now, I really think that this was done to build suspense because it's not 100% confirmed. Yeah, if Class A stay together, they would all get through together. But it is most likely, and it is probably the way you think. So having them being separated, you probably think, or at least some of you are probably thinking, or there be at least a hint of that thinking in your mind, like, oh my gosh, now that they are separated, is everybody going to get through? So I think I'm going to talk about all of Class A first before I talk about other people. So after they got separated, we go over to Deku, and now Deku has his own little adventure going on here where he's run into a girl from the rival school. I can't remember the name, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So he's dropped his guard, and because of that, he's got one hit on him. So he's got 2 hits remaining before he is out. And so, but he drops his guard, and then he goes for his own little adventure fight with this girl who seems to be struggling with, and then at some point, oh, I can't even remember what's going on. But at some point, so that happens, and the next thing I want to talk about involving Deku is when he thinks he runs into Uravity, uh, and he saves her. So this turns out to be the girl again, but before that, he sees her falling, thinks, wait, hold on, why is she falling? Why is she falling? He realizes that it's not her, but despite that, he still saves her, and we find out after that why he did it, because he realized it wasn't gravity, but if she did fall and hit her back, she would have injured herself. So he's playing the hero within the provisional hero license exam, which he shouldn't be because everybody's his enemy, but hey, whatever. But this does add to another point to why I like Deku as a main character, because he's smart, he's analyzing, he's always critical, and he's just always doing that. So just adds another point to why I love Deku within this episode. What was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was going to say there, but yeah, that's just another thing for why I like Deku, because he realized within all this panic of everyone coming towards him because he's part of because he's part of the school that he's with. Sorry, he still realized, yo, that is not your Rarity. So after all of that, he managed to meet up with Rarity and Zero again, the tape hero, and they're together for the end of the episode. So by now, at this point in this episode, 54 people have already passed, and now I think it was mentioned that 230 have failed. So this is now where I want to talk about the hero who I just remembered, who in his hero costume looks like Mr. Bison from Street Fighter, but he manages to quickly, easily take out. Was it 120? I think it was 120 opponents in an instant. Granted, maybe his quirk played a big part in this, and maybe if he didn't have his quirk, maybe he had a different quirk, he might have not been able to take out 120 as quickly. But regardless of that, it's still impressive, and it made me compare him to Shoto. And because I was thinking, because we know that this guy, M Bison, we know that he had the top recommended. He had the top grades from all the recommended people, so we know he's above Shoto, but we don't know how much above him he was, unless it was previously mentioned what place Shoto came. I can't remember, but I was just thinking about when it came to Shoto. It's like the last thing I want to talk about when we see him up against some ninjas. I think it was 10 people, 10 ninjas, but he's struggling against them, and now that made me think, why is he struggling? Where if he's on Bison levels, like if he's close to the win guy's levels, he shouldn't be struggling. But then I remembered quite could play a factor into this as well, and also what could be playing a factor into this as well is that these ninjas, they saw the sports festival, they know about Shoto's quack, they've obviously planned for it because they bought metal that doesn't melt at a high temperature. So there's that could be playing a factor in why Shoto is struggling against 10, where Bison quickly took out 120. Yeah, there's everything I want to say about this episode. So before I give you the rating, I was gonna say before I give you the rating, which is going to be a 4, which would have meant I gave you the rating. But anyway, before I end off the video, I just wanted to mention, I don't know how official this tweet is, but I saw a tweet saying that next episode will have some anime only stuff thrown in within the episode, so stuff that wasn't seen within the manga, so therefore it is filler. But I think it'll be a good thing because I think the pacing of My Hero Academia is a bit too quick, just a little bit too quick. I mean, let's bring it down, slow it down, slow it down a bit. But I'm going to give this episode a 4-star rating because I really enjoyed it. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.